Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a purchase you know you shouldn't make. And you're probably going to make it anyway. Not because you're bad with money. Not because you're undisciplined. Because your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Here's the uncomfortable part, this isn't just a low-income problem. Studies show a huge share of high-income households in the US and UK live paycheck to paycheck, people earning six figures with almost nothing saved. So if it's not about how much you earn, what is it about? There's a single mental mechanism sitting underneath almost every financial decision you make. Economists call it present bias. And once you see how it works, you'll start noticing it everywhere in your own life. Imagine two choices. $100 today, or $150 in a month. Most people take $100. Now imagine the same choice, but pushed a year into the future, $100 in 12 months, or $150 in 13 months. Suddenly, most people pick the $150. The math didn't change. The delay is identical in both cases, 30 days. What changed is that in the second scenario, neither option is now. And now is the only thing your brain treats as real. This is because immediate rewards trigger a dopamine surge in the subcortical regions of your brain, the ancient, fast-acting parts built for survival. Future rewards, by contrast, get processed in the prefrontal cortex as abstract concepts. They don't feel real. They're invisible. So your brain isn't broken. It's just running software designed for a world where the biggest threat was a predator, not a subscription renewal. And this is where it gets strange. Neuroscientists have found that when people think about their future selves, their brain activity looks almost identical to when they think about a complete stranger. You're not just discounting the future, you're mentally outsourcing it to someone else. Someone who, conveniently, will have more discipline than you do right now. Of course, that person never arrives. When the future becomes the present, it's processed the same way, and the postponement continues. Here's where the trap deepens. Researchers Sendhil Molinathan and Eldar Shaffer ran an experiment with shoppers at a New Jersey mall. When low-income participants were given a hard financial scenario to think through, not even a real one, just hypothetical, their cognitive performance dropped sharply. High-income participants, given the same scenario, showed no change at all. The effect size was startling, a loss of roughly 13 to 14 IQ points. That's comparable to a full night of sleep deprivation. The same researchers tested this in the real world, with sugarcane farmers in India who get paid once or twice a year. Same farmers, same intelligence, tested before harvest, when money was tight, and after harvest, when it wasn't. Before harvest, their cognitive performance dropped significantly. It wasn't nutrition. It wasn't stress alone. It was the sheer mental cost of constantly calculating trade-offs with too little to work with. Poverty doesn't just limit your money. It taxes your mind. So what happens when a stretched, depleted brain finally gets a break? Payday. The moment money arrives, there's a rush of relief, and spending follows almost immediately. It feels earned. It feels necessary. But as the month wears on, the money runs out before the stress does, and the cycle resets, primed to repeat. There's a phrase that shows up constantly in this cycle, I deserve this. It sounds like self-care. Neurologically, it's a release valve, trading long-term stability for a small, immediate hit of relief. Now here's where researchers found something that should unsettle anyone who pays by card. In an fMRI study, Dragan Prelek and Sachin Banker had people shop using either cash or credit. Credit card purchases activated the striatum, the same reward circuitry associated with drugs like cocaine. Cash purchases didn't produce that surge, instead, they engaged the brain's pain processing regions. Handing over cash hurts, just slightly. And that small hurt is doing you a favor, it's the brake pedal your credit card removed. This is also why subscriptions are so effective at draining income invisibly. When a yearly cost gets sliced into small automated monthly charges, there's no decision left to make, and no pain to feel. The numbers back this up. People underestimate their own monthly subscription spending by roughly 2.5 times. What feels like $86 a month is often closer to $219. So if income isn't the real problem, more income won't be the real solution either. Raise someone's salary without changing the underlying wiring, and lifestyle simply expands to absorb it, savings stay flat, net wealth stays near zero. Which means the actual fight isn't against a lack of money. It's against a nervous system that treats the future as a stranger and the present as the only thing that's real. The people who escape this trap aren't the ones with more willpower. They're the ones who stopped relying on willpower altogether, automating their savings before temptation ever gets a vote, adding friction before impulse gets a chance to act. But there's a deeper layer to this that we haven't touched yet. Because even when people do manage to save, invest, and build something, many are still optimizing for the wrong version of rich. We already broke down exactly what that looks like in Fake Wealth versus Real Wealth, the psychology you need to master. If you haven't watched that one, it might change how you look at every dollar you're about to spend today.